Well, good morning, my scooter family. It is a beautiful Midwestern summer day, and I'm going to head to the small town of Lebanon, Ohio today. So Lebanon is actually not very far away from me. I have several friends who live in that area. It is an adorable, historic little hallmark town. Today they happen to be having a little art festival. So I thought I'd do a little mini tour and head out to Lebanon and show you all around. Hope you enjoy this ride. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. So let's talk a little bit about Lebanon, Ohio. So Lebanon's only about 30 minutes from my house by Vespa. It's actually a pretty nice ride once I get out of sort of suburbia here. You can get through the country, and there's some really beautiful properties and homes, farmland between here and there. Lebanon, Ohio was founded in 1802. It's really one of the oldest little towns around here. And you can kind of tell right away that it's older. Some of the buildings date back to the 1800s, which is very cool. But they have done a great job with Lebanon, making it look very quaint. There's a lot of little shops there that people love, coffee shops and boutiques, ice cream places, and as I said earlier, it really has a hallmark town feel to it. So today there's actually an art festival, Festival of the Arts in Lebanon, Ohio, and it's supposed to feature different artisans. There should be food, maybe performers. I'm not sure. I'm going to be getting there right as it starts, so I'm not exactly sure how much is going to be going on when I first get there. But this should be a lovely ride to Lebanon.
So Lebanon, Ohio, after its founding in 1802, eventually became a bit of a vital stagecoach stop because it falls halfway between Cincinnati and Dayton. So a fun fact about Lebanon is the main road that goes through Lebanon is called Broadway, and I read that it was called Broadway because they actually intentionally built it wide enough so that stagecoaches could do a U-turn between the buildings. So that's why it's broad. It's nice and wide in order for stagecoaches, which apparently do not have a real tight turn radius, are able to turn around and maybe go back to Cincinnati or go back to Dayton if they forgot something or whatnot.
Here's we have a problem ahead. Hoping there's an obvious detour. Road closed ahead. I think I have heard about this. All right. And then there's no outlet that way. Yep, this road is definitely closed. Okay, so we will see how we need to get to Lebanon. I thought I was going to get to this festival right as it started, but as it appears right now, maybe not. Alright, so I found a detour. Well, I found a road. I should say I found a road that I think is going to take me in the right direction. It's awfully windy. Oh yikes, high accident area. Well, I guess there's a sign. It's a beautiful street. I don't think I've ever been on it before, so you never know. Unexpected things happen, and you might end up seeing something that's quite beautiful. Ah, I do believe I know where I am now. That's good. Okay. So I'm hoping when we first get there, we're just going to kind of take a cruise, slow cruise around town. I'm not sure if roads are going to be closed for this festival. There is a cemetery, which it doesn't appear that there's anything going on at the cemetery. I might take a slow ride through that because I think cemeteries are kind of beautiful and interesting. And then the main road that goes through Lebanon is called Broadway, but that I am thinking might be closed for this festival. It's hard to say. I've never been to this. I don't know how big it is. All right, we're we're going to do this quick detour into this cemetery.
So I quickly discovered after making this turn that I was not going to be able to ride through this cemetery because there are no roads that actually go through it. In fact, there aren't even sidewalks. It's an old historic cemetery from the early 1800s. It's called the Otterbein-Shaker Cemetery. Originally, it was a burial ground for the Shakers. That was a religious group that were called the Shakers because of their style of worship, which apparently sounds pretty exciting. And later, the Otterbein name was picked up, which is associated with the Methodist Church. So early tombstones in here actually do not have years on them because the Shakers were big believers in equality, even equality unto death. So later on that did change, and so some of the tombstones from the early 1900s, you start seeing dates on there. So I'm sure there's a lot of interesting things to see in there. It was interesting to just learn about it after I did this ride.
Right, so you can kind of tell right away that there are some very old homes along this road. What we're coming up to up ahead is this historic inn and restaurant called the Golden Lamb. The Golden Lamb is one of the oldest businesses that's continuing to operate in Ohio. And apparently 12 different presidents have stayed in the Golden Lamb. They've also had very famous residents or very famous customers such as Mark Twain, Harriet Beecher Stowe, a few others. So this is the Golden Lamb. It's a place that people tend to go for special occasions. Looks like there's a little tour going on here. I've not gone on a tour of Lebanon. Maybe I'll have to check that out sometime. The guy seems pretty animated.
Before heading into the art festival, I took a quick walk through the Lebanon Christmas Tree Park. So this is a beautiful space in the spring and summer, but its real claim to fame is this is the site of where they put the community Christmas tree every year. Christmas is a pretty big deal in Lebanon. They have a big Christmas tree lighting ceremony, of course, and then a very famous horse-drawn carriage parade that's done every year. Again, giving it that Hallmark Town kind of vibe. I really enjoyed my walk through this art festival. Local art is always so interesting, and there was so much creativity and beauty to see. Lots of just interesting styles of art, woodworking. These pictures were made mostly of bottle caps and metal. That was pretty neat. So I took a stroll and kind of saw what there was to see through here. I particularly enjoyed this strings duo that was at the end of the street performing pop songs on a couple stringed instruments. So that was kind of fun to watch for a little bit. last stop of the day was at the Broadway Antique Mall. This is kind of right down that main strip in Lebanon, and it's considered a cornerstone of the historic shopping district in downtown Lebanon. So it's a classic small town multi-dealer emporium. So apparently there's like 50 different vendors that come in and have space at this antique shop, and there was a lot of interesting things to see in there. I looked in vain for anything Vespa related, and it's probably because it was local history and antiques and not Italian, I'm not sure. But anyway, I looked for a while and just enjoyed seeing some old items and checking that out. So this was a definite worthy stop that I kind of just picked up at the last minute, but I was glad I did. It was interesting. So as I'm kind of getting the hang of doing these Vespa tours, I'm really glad I did this particular one in Lebanon. I've actually been to Lebanon several times, but this afforded me the opportunity to dig a little deeper into the history and learn more about this little town, which was great. So I enjoyed doing that. I think next time I want to do a little bit better ahead of time researching the town I'm going to tour, so I don't have to go back and then do the research afterwards and kind of fill in the gaps like I did with this one. So I'm still definitely learning as I go. What I would love to know from you is, what is some local history in your area that you've learned that you have found to be kind of fun and interesting? And there's always a lot of stories with any community, old and new. So I'd love to know some fun stories or some claims to fame in the area where you live. So make sure you comment below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.